can you go buy me another pack of cigarettes?
I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it.
Weskerbeard, part number 6. If you've missed the previous installments, yes, those links for your perusal in the description. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Hello all! Hi, Quantum Mech! I'm back again with another installment of Weskerbeard. I've been trying to squeeze the memories out of my head, as these events all happened over 10 years ago, and a lot has happened in that time. And I'm sure that your brain blocked it out for good reason, didn't it? In this story, I will be telling you all about a time when the summer in my part of the UK was particularly pleasant. We wanted to get out and enjoy the warm weather, all while getting a nice tan, maybe. Nice tan? Nuh-uh, son. You can't trick me like that, okay? We've done this whole saga dance before. I'm not falling for it. On this day, Sapphire has asked me if I'd like to go to a nature park that we have here, which isn't too far away. I obviously agreed to go out and spend some time with my friends, away from the games and getting some of that fresh summer air. Yes, with just a tinge of manure because, you know, nature park. I got myself on the bus and went to meet them at Weskerbeard's parents' home. Upon arriving, I was greeted with a ripe smell in the air. Oh, it's just a warm-up for later. The summer heat, combined with multiple unwashed bodies, which were fermenting under that hot summer sun. Oh, I was the unlucky one who opened the door and released that smell. Well, there goes the neighborhood.
That shit stank, don't it? Ugh.
Grandfather Nurgle would have been proud of the concoction brewing in this house at the time. Looking around the co-joined rooms, I could see Hog sitting there, her trousers rolled up to her knees. She was in a tank top, looking like she had been on a long jog, with sweat rolling down her face. Yeah, she ain't even doing nothing. She's sweating that hard just from existing. Hog looked over at me with her sagging, sour face, not dissimilar to an overripe cabbage. She grumbled some sort of greeting to me. Out the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of something that didn't look normal. Nothing in this house is truly normal, let's be honest about that. Sat there, looking at me, was Trotter, who had had all of his facial hair shaved off. He resembled a sad, agitated Muppet that had been in a lawnmower accident.
My head started to get really hot, so I went into my kitchen and I shaved it all off.
That's life hacks, bro. Hair really does make you hot. Get rid of that nasty beard. It's gonna be okay. A few minutes later, I was called upstairs by Weskerbeard. I turned to his parents asking if it was alright for me to go upstairs. They nodded and allowed me to go on my way. Oh, that's good manners right there. As I left the kitchen to go upstairs, I passed the open toilet door. A slight movement to my right made me look into the bathroom, and to my horror, I saw Beard sitting there emptying his guts. He phrased that in the most foul way possible. Also, he does have the door open, but please don't look. Nobody made you look. I guess it's just a reaction, you know? Ooh, stimulus. I've got to look over there. Beard grumbled at me as I quickly turned back away. Beard, do you mind? He said as he pushed the door up slightly. OP, then close the door, I retorted back. Does everybody in this house just poop in the open? I don't understand. Heading upstairs, I dodged around more clothing and trash, starting to now know what it was like to be a human minesweeper. I dared not touch the clothes from the fear of something running out at me. God, that is a distinct possibility, isn't it? Remember back in the Stealthbeard saga, when OP was like describing hearing insects moving in this giant pile of trash? That is so believable. That is so vivid. It stuck with me this whole time. And it just came back to me. Anyways, when I reached the top step, I bumped into Judgy Beard on the landing. I stopped to have a quick chat with him about the upcoming Silent Hill game. This discussion, however, was cut short, as Rage Baby exited his room with an angered look on his face from the two of us talking. Rage Baby,
What are you doing?
Judgy Beard, we're just talking about silent. He gets cut off by Rage Baby.
Well, don't talk so loud, okay?
Does nobody in this house know that headphones exist? He then stormed back off into his room, not bothering to close his door, and if I had to guess, he probably went to play some modded Skyrim on his PC. Me and Judgy, on the other hand, just looked at each other, shrugged, and then parted ways. Modded Skyrim on the PC? Nobody actually plays that. You just sit there and mod it until it breaks, and then delete it and do it all over again. I carried on my own way towards Sapphire and Weskerbeard's room. When entering their room, I had to dodge past trash and old clothing, my white trainers turning grayer the longer I stayed in this house. Yeah, 'cause nobody's heard of an ashtray. Sapphire says, "Hey Mac, how are you?" she asked as she got up and gave me a big squeeze. Weskerbeard, "I won't be too long, babe." He said this while trying to squeeze out as much time as he possibly could on Mass Effect. Well, we're not going anywhere today, are we? Sapphire sighed and shook her head, knowing that it wasn't going to be just a few minutes. A few minutes later, he finished up on the PlayStation. He then reached for his bag that was full of dog ends and started to make some roll-ups. "You have a full pack of cigs already," Sapphire informed him. In reply, Weskerbeard whined,
Yeah, but what if I run out while we're out and about, babe?
He said this with a laugh, as if she was simple for not understanding that. If you run out, then you stop smoking. Smoke less, it's fine. Once he was done, he began peeling himself off of the bed and giving his console a wistful look. I imagine that if he was able to, he would have taken it with him everywhere. That's why the Switch's so good, isn't it? God, I want a Steam Deck too. But I have no time to play video games. And I don't go anywhere. After leaving his room and getting downstairs, he grabbed his tatty old trench coat that was just discarded into his brother's wheelchair. He wouldn't listen to Sapphire telling him that it was too hot for that coat, as he threw it on top of his Guy Fieri-style flame shirt. Well, these fashion choices are all really unfortunate. But he'll learn that lesson himself in due time. So she just decided to leave Weskerbeard to his own choices so he could learn the hard way. I then watched as he snuck over to the fridge and stole himself a can of Poopsie from one of the other occupants of this pigsty while they were distracted by the screens. Pocketing it, he smiled at me, flashing his rotten teeth and tapping his nose as he walked past Sapphire and me. As he did, Sapphire sighed and shook her head slightly before walking over to get herself and I a drink from her own stash, to which I thanked her and made a mental note to repay the favor back later on. I mean, theft does make Pepsi taste a little bit better.
The secret ingredient is crime.
But if you really want to get him off the Pepsi, show him that Chris Trucker episode with the Poopsie in it. Never again. Haven't drank one since. So we escaped outside, all of us, and breathing in the fresh air honestly never felt better, as that house was stuffy and full of smoke because Hog wouldn't allow open windows due to the drafts that they made, apparently. Bitch, put on a sweater. This place needs to air out in a bad way. Anyway, as I said, we were now outside and free to wander. With the weather being nice, we decided to take a longer walk than usual. Rather than going to the bus stop closest to us, we made the decision to take a stroll to the bus stop at the nearby shopping center. When I say we, I mean me and Sapphire, because Weskerbeard moaned that walking that far was too long. I mean, it wasn't really. It was just too long for his tarred lungs to handle, is what he really meant. Yeah, this is good for you, bro. Let's take a jog. Cough some of that shit up. We did get a chuckle from the walk, as on our way to the shopping center, a small child shouted at Weskerbeard, "Go back to Scotland!" referring to him being wrapped up as if the weather was cold. Even kids out here punking Weskerbeard, man. You love to see it. Me and Sapphire snickered at the kid, while Weskerbeard, to show that it didn't bother him, literally stuck his nose up into the air, followed with a huff that sure showed the child that Weskerbeard wasn't bothered by him. He saw that in an anime one time. Nobody actually does that, Weskerbeard. Stop it. After some time walking in the heat, we all agreed that a rest was needed, just for a little while. Seeing a hill in the distance with 2 huge trees and plenty of shade, this looked like a great spot to sit and relax for just a few minutes. Weskerbeard planted his unwashed ass down with a grumble and looked out towards where we were going to be heading. Oh my god, it's so far away, it's just down the hill. Pull yourself together, Rad. Weskerbeard began moaning that he was too hot. But when Sapphire suggested that he take his coat off, he refused to do so. Are you that insecure with your body? Come on, man. Nobody's gonna be looking at you. Nobody cares. You're much more of a spectacle with the coat on. Come on, man. He began to dig around inside his pocket for his little grubby tin that contained his handmade cigs. He opened the tin like he was opening a treasure chest, all while vocalizing a terrible rendition of the Final Fantasy chest opening theme. Wow, that's cringe. Slightly less cringe if you do the Legend of Zelda chest opening. We could see him getting excited to have another smoke. He plucked out one of his crudely made cigs between his grubby fingers and placed it in his mouth, but not before giving it a flourish twirl with his wrist. Oh yeah, that part makes you look so much cooler. Wasting no time, once Weskerbeard was finished, Sapphire got up, dusting dry grass off of herself. So, you two ready to go then? Sapphire asked, as she turned to look us both over, to which I was going to answer, but Weskerbeard beat me to it with an energetic, "Yeah, we're ready to go, babe." Weskerbeard probably thought she was asking for that threesome that he's always trying to force her into. Oh, you meant to walk? No, not that. I don't want to do that. With the energy to match, Weskerbeard pushed himself up off the ground and threw his arms around her. Maybe it wasn't a joke. Maybe he really does think that. Then he started to march her off, leaving me to catch up with the two of them. When I had caught up, he had already got to the bottom of the hill with Sapphire, giving me a puzzled look. She soon figured out that Weskerbeard was hurrying her and OP to the shopping center in hopes of getting the bus as quickly as possible so that he could get back home sooner. I mean, whatever motivation it takes, I guess, that's fine. Unfortunately for him, however, we missed the bus. This would have annoyed him any other time, but there was a game shop inside the shopping center. Ooh! This $10 is burning a hole in my pocket. I better go buy a Mad Catz controller. Weskerbeard says, "Babe, I'm gonna go inside and check out the games and grade your games." Sapphire, are you? Because we don't have that much money. Weskerbeard, well, can I just look then? It's probably not a great idea, honestly. While whining at Sapphire about the games, people were looking at him from how loud he was being. His scent was being wafted around, which caused them to move away. Well advised, honestly. Watch out for that particulate. Trace amounts of science. Another stuff that we don't want to discuss publicly. Sapphire checked the timetable nearby, and with a sigh said, okay, we've got a little time. And with that said, he marched off towards the doors, leaving Sapphire and I to catch up. When we did catch up to him, he was already rapidly making his way through the shopping center, with his sights locked in on the gaming shop. I don't know if the gaming shop is actually that fascinating. It's like Weskerbeard is having this suspended adolescence where he just continues to endlessly repeat the things that he did in high school. Do you even enjoy this? Does it make you feel happy? Do you feel happiness at any point anymore? As we followed after Weskerbeard, he talked at me and Sapphire just a little bit too loudly. Again. I can't remember what it was about. Probably about some bollocks or another. All I know is that it made a few people turn to stare at us. Thankfully, we reached the game store and were able to duck in before anyone could say anything to him. I mean, what they could possibly say? Shut up!
Shut up, fella!
Once in the store, Weskerbeard pawed over the games that he couldn't afford and started griping, running his fingertips down several game cases with a sad puppy pout. Ugh, disgusting. It's not fair. I don't have the money for it, he said, while looking at the Silent Hill collection. Can you buy it for me, babe? My birthday's coming up soon. What? He's treating his girlfriend like his mother? I guess I shouldn't be that surprised about it. Sapphire just answered him with a flat no, making him a little bit stroppy with her. All while this was going on, I was chatting away to the clerk behind the counter about something or another, when Weskerbeard walked up beside me and butted in, cutting us off to ask how many copies of Silent Hill they had, to which the clerk told him rather quickly that they only had the one, because it was a popular game at the time. And it still maintains a cult following to this day. Weskerbeard, can you hold it for me until next week? Clerk, no, sorry. We can only hold it for the day, but not an entire week. Weskerbeard sighed and walked off back to Sapphire. He yet again tried to convince her to buy him the game and received the same blunt answer as last time. No. Sapphire checked her phone for the time. Seeing that the bus would be arriving soon, she corralled him out of the shop and towards the exit where the bus stop was closest to. As we were passing a few shops, I made a quick stop off to get some more drinks for the three of us before heading to the bus. What drinks you buy? I hope it's water. It's a hot day, you need some water. Drink water right now.
Nice job, Chris. You got my shirt wet.
Anyway, moving on from here, not much happened on the ride other than the usual. We did get the top deck to ourselves. Maybe that was just luck, or maybe it was Weskerbeard's smell. I know where I've got my money. Unlike the ghost town of a top deck, the animal park was absolutely packed. This didn't bother me, but I did feel sorry for the people who didn't know Weskerbeard. To get there to where the animals were, we had to walk through a large park that had 2 large ponds inside of it. As we walked past, there were a few people fishing in the ponds, hoping to get lucky. While we walked past, Weskerbeard was curious about the types of animals that it contained. Yeah, there's probably just fish in there, stupid. What you talking about? Weskerbeard. Hey, so what animals do they have? Sapphire. All sorts of things, from goats in the pens, there's parrots in the cages, plus they have a walk-in aviary. Oh, it's meaning the animal park, not the pond. Okay. It's confused me a little bit. Weskerbeard. I bet I could get one to say fuck, he said with a small snicker. Oh, well that would just be the highlight of my day, Weskerbeard. OP says, look out for the African face-eating birds in there, though. Weskerbeard looked at me and thought for a second before asking. Weskerbeard, do they keep them locked away? You know, in case they attack? Me and Sapphire burst out laughing as he tried to figure out if I was joking or not. Yeah, Weskerbeard ain't too quick on the uptake, is he? By this time we had passed the ponds and gotten to the doors, pushing through them before going through the building which separated the park from the animal enclosures. Upon exiting, we were greeted by a peacock showing off his beautiful large fan tail. That's the sound a peacock makes. Before an out-of-control child scared him off by running at him and making him take off and land in one of the nearby open pens containing the goats. Yeah, that's kids for you. Following the peacock over to the pen, we leaned on the fence that held the goats who came right up to us for food and pets. So who were we to ignore these friendly creatures? We stroked them until Weskerbeard tried to do the same, but his fingerless gloves must have freaked the poor goat out because it made an attempt to headbutt Weskerbeard. You smell like cigarettes and failure, headbutt! I'm with the goat, honestly. We chose from here to walk along the path towards where the small monkeys were kept. We watched them as they cleaned each other, while others were swinging from branches. Weskerbeard sighed, letting his shoulders droop slightly, complaining that he had forgotten to have a smoke before coming in, and he wasn't allowed to do so while in here. Okay, well, go outside, or realize that you have control over your mind and body and don't need to smoke in this moment. By this time, we had passed multiple cages with different animals in them, which all got ignored by Weskerbeard until Sapphire told him to cheer up. So he faked a smile and explained, I am happy, babe. I just want to fucking smoke. He ended his sentence with a weird giggle. To go smoke, man. Quit fucking bugging me about it. Weskerbeard looked away into one of the cages. I looked over at Sapphire, who was visibly annoyed from his childish antics. Luckily, we had made our way to the aviary by this time. The doors had a locking system of 2 sets of double doors. I opened the door and held it for the both of them. Sapphire entered first, followed by Weskerbeard and a few random people who were going to be stuck in here with us. Inside the aviary, it was filled with all sorts of birds flying, with stunning colors looking like a blur, as other large birds just walked past as if on a morning stroll. Yeah, I guess the aviary's pretty cool. It don't hold a candle to the butterfly house, though. Weskerbeard, trying to sound happy, they're kinda pretty. He said this as he leant over towards a small bird that was sat on the floor, which had the smarts to run away from him. I mean, honestly, we all should have run away from Weskerbeard by this point, right? That bird is smarter than everybody involved. Weskerbeard chuckled at the fact that he had scared off the tiny avian, which for some reason he looked happy about. In the distance, I could see that a small flock of budgies were flying towards us, and I chose this as the right time to exclaim while pointing at them, "Look out, Weskerbeard! Face-eating birds!" Weskerbeard ducking slightly and looking worried. Where? He asked while looking around frantically for them as the swarm flew past, chirping as they did, before landing in the nearby trees. Sapphire covered her face with her hand and laughed, while Weskerbeard stood back up straight, looking a little bit flustered. Bro plays way too many video games if he thinks face-eating birds are really a thing. After our tour through the aviary, we left through the opposite side from where we had come in. On this side of the aviary, after leaving, the park had more animals, including marsupials, rheas, and deers that were fenced, none of which caught Weskerbeard's attention, as he was focused more on his small, grubby tin of smokes. Knowing that he was close to the end of the animal enclosure, he had put in his hand, just waiting to spark up another cig. And by the time we reached the exit, he had already pulled one out and placed it between his lips, ready to go. Why do you choose to do these things? Do you think it makes you look cool? It doesn't make you look cool. When we eventually got out, he made a beeline for the nearest gate, almost becoming a blur himself. I am more than certain that he would have shouldered his way through people just so he could reach the exit a little bit faster. At one of the many exits to the park, Weskerbeard stood smoking his roughly made cig, so we waited until he'd finished up, and when he did, we all headed over to the bus depot and caught a ride home. Anyway, I kept y'all long enough for now, so I'll be going, but before I go, I need to let y'all know that Sapphire's stories probably will have more parts than mine, as she knew him for 2 years longer than I did. So, thank y'all for reading this part, and I hope to see you again soon. Your OP, Mick. Yeah, I'll be real with you, this part feels like it was getting stretched a little bit thin, but that's okay. We'll just do 2 Sapphire stories in a video to try and keep them the same length or something like that. I don't know if Mick has more stories, but I know Sapphire's posted part 7. We're catching up on Weskerbeard. I'm super proud. Opening up the field for more sagas and whatnot, and I hope you guys are looking forward to it. Weskerbeard himself, yeah, just a mess in general. How are you this incapable of literally just enjoying yourself? It's the easiest thing in the world, okay? You don't need a cigarette to be happy. Sometimes it feels like that, but you just tell your brain like, hey, don't lie to yourself. But I understand, addiction's a hell of a thing. Anyways, we'll get into the Living with Weskerbeard part number 6 and see what that's got for us. So let's head on over. Living with Weskerbeard, part 6. Wow, this one's got a lot of dialogue. That's fine. Hello, everyone. I am here with another installment of the Living with Weskerbeard tales. The cast list is the same as usual. Let's just get into it. After Weskerbeard decided to let Anime Boy sleep on the cramped single bed, another day was beginning. Anime Boy, like Weskerbeard, had slept in his clothes, and he had already left the house. I pushed up, stiffly, into a sitting position. I fell against Weskerbeard as my hand almost slipped into one of the many holes in his mattress. I jabbed him a few times in the side to wake him up. Bro, just don't buy a couple games and buy a mattress. Like, even a used one. Even a roadside mattress has got to be better than whatever the hell this is.
Hi, I'm Gary, at the one and only Gary's Mattress. If you find a mattress at a better price, I'll kick a puppy and punch a kitten just for you.
Eventually, Weskerbeard wakes and says groggily, what? OP, why didn't you sort him out somewhere to sleep? Weskerbeard, what? OP, Anime Boy, how come he slept up here in your bed? Weskerbeard, he always does when he comes around. I've known him for years, and he suffers from night terrors. Buy him a stuffed animal, I don't know what to say. OP says, well, I don't mind him sitting on the bed to watch DVDs or play games, but there isn't much room for him to sleep on here too. Weskerbeard, I'll sort him out something for the next time that he comes over, babe. I nodded as I got up, knowing full well that he was only just saying that so I would leave the issue alone. I mean, that's fine, leave it alone for now, but the next time dude comes over, you gotta hold his feet to the fire. Little bit of personal accountability here. Weskerbeard, now that I had rudely awoken him, grabbed his orange cig end bag from behind the TV and began rooting around in it. That's all he does. I watched as ash and tobacco bits fell onto the bed again. OP, Weskerbeard, can you do me a favor? Weskerbeard, what's that, babe? OP, I'm not trying to be bossy, but when you make a roll-up, could you not do it right over the bed? Weskerbeard, why? OP, gesturing to the ash and tobacco, it makes a mess. Which I guess isn't a problem if you sleep in your clothes. Get up and dust yourself off. Weskerbeard brushed the ash and tobacco onto the floor with his hand, leaving gray streaks on the bright blue blanket. Weskerbeard, it's not that bad, babe. OP, I don't want to have to sleep in that crap. Weskerbeard, fine, I'll do it over the bag from now on. Why wouldn't you do that to begin with? Don't you care about your things? And then I take one pointed look around the room and I'm like, oh yeah, of course you don't. Spoiler alert, he did not do it over the bag from then on. This would be a reoccurring circle of, can you not do it over the bed? Followed by whinging, I'm not! Or, I am doing it over the bag, even though it was clearly not over the bag. Ah, relationship squabbles. Not the worst thing that we've seen in this house. But I could tell it really affected you deeply, OP. And yeah, pretty gross. A little while later, he was done making his roll-ups and turned on his 360. That's right, cigarettes and video games all day until I'm dead. I didn't have to go into the charity shop that day, so I loaded up the laptop again to see if any houses were available. Nothing. I watched as Weskerbeard sawed through some lizardy-looking creature with a gun that had an inbuilt chainsaw. Again, my interest was piqued. Hell yeah, dude, Gears of War, dude. Actually, it's pretty cool. OP, what's this game? A few moments later, OP says again, louder and slower, Weskerbeard, what are you playing? Weskerbeard, oh, sorry, babe. I didn't hear ya. OP, I was asking what you were playing. Weskerbeard, oh, this, it's called Gears of War. Lit. Hey, if I could get another controller, we could play it together, babe. It's co-op. Why would you not have another controller? Never mind, it's fine. Just go buy another game. We don't need another controller. OP just says, yeah, I might do, but before you do all that, could you grab something for me to nibble on? Because I'm a little bit hungry. Weskerbeard, Mom said you could help yourself. OP, last time I did, Rage Baby said I was stealing. Weskerbeard, fine. I'll go down in a minute. OP, thanks. Weskerbeard finished what he was doing and got up from the bed. He headed over to the door and turned before leaving. Weskerbeard, what did you want me to get you, babe? OP, I'm not fussed, really. Anything's good with me. Weskerbeard, alright, back soon, babe. He's gonna bring you beard food, isn't he? Just an uncooked Hot Pocket. I nodded as Weskerbeard closed the door. I listened as Weskerbeard's footsteps took a turn to the right into the bathroom. He finished in there and left. OP says, Weskerbeard! Weskerbeard coming back into the room. Yeah, babe. OP, did you wash your hands? Weskerbeard rolling his eyes. Yeah, I'll do them right now. He's such a mess. And then OP really sticking it out. Like, I can fix him. I can still fix him. I have hope. He shut the door and went into the bathroom. I heard the tap run. Whether he actually washed his hands or not, I don't know. A little while later, he came back into the room from downstairs. He handed me some food, which was wrapped up, and he looked irritated. OP, what's wrong? Weskerbeard, Rage maybe wants me to take his PlayStation 3 into Granger Games. He says it's not working, and he wants them to take a look at it. OP just says, okay. Weskerbeard whining, I don't want to go out. OP, it's better than staying in all day. Yeah, citation needed on that, OP. Honestly. Weskerbeard, but I wanted to play Gears. OP, if we go now, you can still play when you get back. Weskerbeard shortly, fine. As Weskerbeard turned off the 360, I finished eating and got ready to go. Weskerbeard headed downstairs and went to his mom. Weskerbeard, Rage maybe wants me to take his PlayStation 3 in. Could you give me some bus fare? Bro, go panhandle. Go walk. Why you need to lean on mom and dad for everything? Hog says, for fuck's sake, Weskerbeard! Is there nothing you can do yourself? Weskerbeard, but I don't have any money. Hog, snatching her purse from the table, you better pay me back. Weskerbeard, I will do. Hog, I'm sick of always giving you stuff. If it's not cigs, it's money. Well, that's your kids. You need to whip him into shape. How hard is it to say no? If you want cigarettes, go get a goddamn job. As Weskerbeard and Hog argued over the bus fare, Rage Baby came down with a large bag. He passed me, and ignoring both of them, pushed the bag into Weskerbeard. After he had handed the bag over, without another word, he stormed off again back upstairs. I got a lot of questions about, like, why Weskerbeard's the one that has to take the PlayStation 3 in. You really just that bottom bitch in this house? Weskerbeard, in a mood, says, come on, babe, let's go. I followed him out, and not long after, we were on the bus heading to NP Shopping Center. We didn't talk on the way there. I sat listening to music, as he sat grumpily in the back of the bus, listening to something himself. Eventually, we got to NP and headed inside, or we would have if Weskerbeard hadn't decided to pull out one of the cigs that he had pilfered from Hog. OP, while you smoke that, do you want me to take this in for you? Weskerbeard, nah, it's okay. It won't be too long, babe. OP with a shrug, yeah, alright. Just thought it might be quicker. You're trying to avoid letting him go into the game shop, which is a good strategy. But it seems like he lives and breathes. He only exists so he can spend time in that game shop. I milled around, bored as he smoked. For someone who didn't want to go out, he seemed to be taking his time, smoking. Fairly soon, it had started spitting with rain, so I headed inside to wait for Weskerbeard. Weskerbeard finally finished. Hey, babe, why'd you leave me outside? OP, I'm not waiting around getting wet, waiting for you. I don't smoke anyway, so there's no point to me being out there. Weskerbeard huffing. You could have waited with me. It wasn't taking that long. Okay, how about you could decide not to smoke? As ridiculous as that sounds to you, the inverse sounds equally ridiculous to me, okay? OP. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. Let's just take in Rage Baby's PlayStation. Not giving him a chance to say anything else, I begin walking in the direction of Granger Games, Weskerbeard slowly following behind. We walked through the door, and Weskerbeard headed up to the counter with me. The store assistant, coming out of the back, stopped in his tracks, looking at Weskerbeard. He put on his best customer service face as Weskerbeard put the bag on the counter. Sales assistant, hello? How can I help you today? Weskerbeard started to pull the PlayStation out of the bag. Hair and some random debris dropping onto the counter. Well, here's the problem. Your PlayStation's full of cockroaches. Weskerbeard, my brother said he bought this PlayStation here a couple days ago. He wants you to take a look at it because it's not working properly. It turns on, but then it turns off on its own. Probably just overheating immediately because it's full of hair. The store assistant seemed to almost recoil from Weskerbeard as he spoke. He had seen his yellow and black teeth, Weskerbeard's fetid breath sweeping over the counter, assaulting this poor guy who was just trying to get a paycheck. To digress slightly, I have a really bad sense of smell. It was bad before moving in with Weskerbeard, but living there definitely made it worse. Even though I, from time to time, could still catch the smell of the dead tooth decay, his breath had like this slight manure smell to it, like he used a bottle of fart spray to gargle with. Luckily for me, I'm not really big on kissing, so thankfully, I dodged that bullet. I mean, you might be bigger on kissing if you weren't dating Mr. Halitosis over here. The store assistant looked at the PlayStation 3 sitting on the counter. This PlayStation 3 was one of the early models, the one that was backwards compatible with PS2. It had a little flap on the front where the ports were housed. What greeted the assistant was a thick gray and brown mass of hair and dust. It coated the entire port area under the flap. His customer service face almost faltered, and he looked at Weskerbeard. Sales associate, we're closing soon, so I can't do anything with it now. Not in this state. The best I can suggest is that your brother tries to clean it out himself, and if that doesn't work, bring it back in. Weskerbeard, what do you mean in this state? I don't know, bitch, use your eyes, like, you think this is normal or okay? Sales guy continues, look, I'm not authorized to clean him out. Maybe if the manager was in, he might be able to look at it, but he's not in today. Weskerbeard glared at him as he began to stuff the PlayStation 3 and its cables back into the bag. He picked the bag up and stormed off out of the shop as the sales assistant just watched him. Good riddance, Weskerbeard. How dare he say that? He complained as I came up behind him. OP, well, there was like a load of fluff in the front of it. Weskerbeard, you still could have taken a look at it instead of me having to waste my time coming here for nothing. Or you could just learn how to clean and maintain the things that you own. Isn't that the easier solution? OP, well, at least you can go back now and play Gears of War again. Weskerbeard pulled out another cig as we walked towards the door. He looked grumpy as he noticed the rain. Weskerbeard, great. OP, hopefully the bus won't take too long. Weskerbeard, I can't have a cig when it's raining like this. OP, you could always quit, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it. Weskerbeard, LOL! That's essentially what I've been saying for the whole episode. Like, I'm on and off the nicotine train, okay? But don't let this one aspect of your life spoil the fun that you could be having everywhere else in your life. You know? That's fine, no cigarette, just wait. It really is fine. Weskerbeard didn't actually laugh out loud here. He would literally say LOL as a word, not just each letter of it. This wasn't a one-off thing either. He would say it regularly. I rolled my eyes as he loudly said it and noticed other people looking at him for it. Ah yes, fellow internet denizen. I go online too. Luckily, the bus that we were waiting for didn't take too long to arrive. The journey home was long, though, as people climbed on out of the rain. Weskerbeard would interrupt what I was listening to complain about how long it was taking, and that he was dying for a cig. You got a problem, man. You need to wind it back, bro. Eventually, we arrived not far from the top of our street, and the rain had thankfully slowed. Weskerbeard pulled out the cig that he had been waiting his whole life for, and lit it before taking a long drag. He exhaled loudly and dramatically, as if it had just saved his life. When we got in, Rage Baby stomped his way downstairs not long after. Rage Baby, what did they say? Weskerbeard, he didn't even bother looking at it. Rage Baby, bullshit! You didn't bother getting it looked at. Weskerbeard, Sapphire, the guy behind the desk didn't even bother looking at it. OP, not wanting to get involved. Yeah, we did take it in. Weskerbeard, he opened the front and saw some dust, and said he didn't want to look at it in that state, and that you should try to clean it out yourself. Rage Baby, there wasn't anything in it earlier.
Are you sure about that?
Weskerbeard, maybe a little bit of dust, but it wasn't as bad as he made out. Listen to me, children. Your PlayStation is choking to death. Please, stop! The way they were speaking about this issue was almost like they were convinced that the guy at Granger Games had stuffed that PlayStation full of crap himself. Yeah, they actually do that, OP. They keep a big bag of hair behind the counter. There was more complaining about dust and how it wasn't as bad as the sales associate was saying. I left him to it and went back upstairs. Sitting on the most intact part of the bed, I loaded up the laptop. I had just uploaded a pic of some cute cartoon wolves as a profile picture, and I had a small list of comments from a few furries that I talked to regularly. And then some furry stuff about Wolf's Rain that I'm not gonna bother reading. At this point, Weskerbeard came back into the room, still in a mood. OP, hey, Weskerbeard. Weskerbeard, what, babe? OP, have either you or Anime Boy heard of an anime called Wolf's Rain? Weskerbeard, no. OP, alright. I was just wondering if you had. Maybe we could watch it. Weskerbeard, I've watched one called Legend of the Overfeed. We could watch that. OP, happily and curiously, what's that about? Weskerbeard, it's about a demon lord that wants to destroy the world with its minions. OP, interesting. Weskerbeard, and there's loads of blood and violence, and there's sex and rape scenes. Well, my interest took a huge nosedive as he wittered on about how hot those scenes were. OP, yeah, it's gonna be a no from me, dog. I don't think that's something that I would enjoy watching. Weskerbeard, but babe, you liked the sound of it a second ago. That and Anime Boy has the uncensored version. We could borrow it next time he comes. I was asking about Wolf's Rain. Why are we off on this Legend of Overfiend tangent? OP just says, no, I'm not interested in that sort of thing. You know that. Weskerbeard, fine, he said, grumbling. Another one I watched when I was about 10 was called Devilman. OP, that doesn't sound like something I'd watch either. Weskerbeard, there's only a little bit of sex in it. OP, turning back to her laptop. You know what? I'm good. Thanks. Weskerbeard turned on his 360 again as I carried on a conversation with the furries about Wolf's Rain. Yeah, I guess we all gotta occupy our time somehow, right? I can't be mean to some furries because they did help me out at some of my worst times. Any strange, over-sexual furries, though, I tended to unfriend them. Weskerbeard, though, didn't like me talking to any of them. Well, that's not because they're furries, that's just because he wants to isolate you, you see? If you had any other quote-unquote normal friends, he'd probably try to keep you away from them, too. Skipping back in time a little, Weskerbeard got angry one time because a guy had a shirtless picture of himself as his profile picture, and he demanded that I unfriend him. God damn! You're so insecure about the profile picture? Why is your line of thinking not like, hey, I should go hit the gym so I can look like that guy? I guess it's just easier to force your milady to block him. This guy lived in the USA, so even if I wanted to, cheating would be well off the table. Weskerbeard took over my conversation on a computer that I was using in a work center. We'll call that guy Shirtless Guy. Weskerbeard, stop talking to my girlfriend. Shirtless Guy,
We were just talking.
Weskerbeard, I said I don't want you talking to my girlfriend, mother fricker. Oh my god, how uncouth! You keep using that type of language and you're headed straight for heck, young man! Shirtless Guy,
Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
Weskerbeard, piece of shit, that's who. I love this online slap fight where nobody can really do anything. It's pathetic, dude. Shirtless Guy,
What's your address? I'll tell you what, I'll fly over there and kick your ass. I'm an ex-soldier. I'll bring my M4. See how cocky you are then, shall we?
dude, Shirtless Guy's pretty cringe too, isn't he? What's that Navy SEAL copy pasta? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs. I've been involved in numerous secret raids on Al-Qaeda, and I have over 300 confirmed kills. Wow, I get it. Everybody here is really tough. Okay, moving on. Weskerbeard paused for a second, slightly shaken by this threat. He thought for a second and then decided to actually type in his address. But he had a plan, a foolproof plan. Instead of putting 30 Fake Street as his address, he put 300 Fake Street. That was it. Everything else was 100% his address. I mean, probably everything's gonna be fine, but you might be messing with a maniac. You never really know online. The damage was done. There was no fixing the mess that he had made. I unadded and blocked Shirtless Guy. It's funny, though he felt the need to stop me from talking to others, I never had any complaints or demands if he talked to other people, other women included, but I digress. I mean, let's be real, OP, you weren't scared about this dude running away, finding somebody better. He's already dating upwards, isn't he? So I cut the chat with the Anthros after a while due to it being dinner time. I watched as Weskerbeard scooted off the bed before putting my laptop in its bag. OP, do you know what we're having today? Weskerbeard, salad. OP, okay. Bro, they eat salad every day. How are they so fat if they're eating fucking salad all the time? A lot of ranch dressing, I guess. We went downstairs to grab our food. It wasn't as bad looking as usual. Green lettuce, firm, unsquishy cucumber, tomatoes that weren't sad and soft. The onion wasn't an off yellow color like it had been in previous meals. We took the food upstairs, and once up there, I placed it on the bed. OP, Weskerbeard, can you make sure no flies land on it, please? I just need to go to the bathroom. Weskerbeard, sure, babe. Leave it there. And surely he shall fulfill his duty to the utmost degree, yes? I went to the bathroom upstairs to try and make it quick. That plan came down faster than the Hindenburg when I noticed a large lump of feces smeared on the toilet seat that Maniabeard and his dad had left on there. Maniabeard and his dad? They pooping together? Or they just pooping on top of the poop? You know what? I don't want to know. It's fine. I know that might sound like an oddly specific accusation, but not long before dinner, Maniabeard had been in the bathroom calling for Trotter. With Maniabeard being disabled, Trotter had to wipe Maniabeard's behind. He would always leave Maniabeard to slide off the seat before doing so, which left skid marks in the process. Well, I found out where Weskerbeard's hygiene practices came from. Neither Maniabeard or Trotter washed their hands after touching that accursed toilet seat, wiping a shitty ass, or using the bathroom in general. Dude, that's disgusting. I hope you didn't touch any doorknobs in their house. I mean, everything here is foul, but that's a new level, isn't it? After coming back upstairs from the safer bathroom, I closed the door behind me before heading to sit on the bed. Weskerbeard was already eating, watching Screw Attack. I was about to grab my food. Weskerbeard then farted right next to my food. I I stared at him in anger. OP, you mucky bastard. Weskerbeard,
What?
OP, you just farted on my dinner. Weskerbeard,
No, I didn't.
OP, Weskerbeard, my dinner was less than 30 centimeters from your ass. You pretty much farted on my dinner.
I don't know what to tell you. Some chicks are into that.
Weskerbeard says,
Sorry, babe. I didn't know it was there.
OP, I asked you to watch it, so nothing went onto it. I'm not eating it now. Weskerbeard,
Then what are you gonna have for dinner? You can't starve.
I glared daggers at him before I reached over and took what was left of his. Guy, y'all being so dramatic about this situation. Just eat your fart salad, it's fine. A little bit of particulate, but nothing worse than what we're existing in every single day in this beard nest, right? Weskerbeard,
What are you doing? That's mine,
he said, before I handed him my salad with his own brand of home-brewed seasoning. OP, well, at least you have extras now. Weskerbeard whining.
Babe!
OP, what? I'm not eating that after you farted on it. Not like it would make it any better, but you don't even wear underwear. You have only a few millimeters of fabric between your ass and my dinner. Wait, he doesn't wear underwear? Why has this not been addressed until now? Weskerbeard stopped arguing and went back to watching Screw Attack as he ate the salad. I was more than pissed off as I ate. The one decent salad I ever got in that goddamn house, and he farted on it. Well, I think I've rambled on enough for now. Join me in Living with Weskerbeard part number 7 when I get around to writing and uploading that for more cringe and poop and a rather unexpected case of parasites. Oh boy. Bye for now. I can't even be that surprised by the parasites, honestly. I'm surprised that we hadn't caught parasites up until this point. Truth is, Weskerbeard is completely unconcerned with anybody or anything besides himself. He didn't watch that salad. I'm sure flies got in it. And then he forgot it existed and farted on it. And probably still he ate it. It's poetic justice in a way, isn't it? But I hope you enjoyed the episode, friends. If you did, like, comment, sub, do all the things, you know. Social medias, they down there too. TikTok, Twitter, Discord. That's where I'm usually at. Thank you to my Patreon patrons, my YouTube channel members. If you'd like to thank me as a one-time thing, there's a little thanks button at the bottom of the video too. Ain't that neat? But whether you can support or not, I hope that you come back, hang out with us again tomorrow. In order to do so, keep yourself safe out there. Wash your hands, especially you, Weskerbeard. I see you, goddammit. Wash your friggin' hands. And of course, always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye.
It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.